This podcast is going to be about naming acids. Now you'll want to look on the one side of your periodic table that has this little handy dandy box at the bottom that says something about acids. And in general, what I remember from that box is that if you have an anion that ends in "ide," when you name it, you always have the prefix hydro. You fill in the stem name, change the suffix to "ic," and write acid. If your anion ends in "ate," you change it to the whole stem of the name and change the suffix to "ic," acid. And if your anion ending is "ite," you simply change "ite" into the stem name and it goes to "us." So I remember that dynamite is dangerous. And I remember I ate too much and now I'm ick, more like sick. Let's practice naming some acids. So I'm going to start with HF. Now remember, all acids start with the letter H. And the first thing we do is we look at the second part, which is the anion, and F is fluoride. It ends in "ide," so I follow that first rule on there. I add hydro. I fill in the stem name, which is fluor, and I change the suffix ending to "ic," acid. So it's hydrofluoric acid. Anything with the prefix hydro and the suffix ending "ic" will be an acid with absolutely no oxygens. So let's do another one of those. I have been known to ask this one on a test many times. We'll do HCN. So H again tells us it's an acid. Now I got to look up this part. If you look on your pink sheet, you will eventually find it. It is cyanide. The "ide" tells you when you name it properly that it must be hydro. Fill in the stem, cyan. Change the "ide" to "ic," hydrocyanic acid. Now let's do one where the spelling gets a little wonky. How about H2S? So we look up S. It came from sulfide. So we'll name it hydrosol. We got to put the hair back on the animal. Furic acid. So the spelling changes a little bit. I think because it sounds better to our ear. Now let's try one more that changes the spelling. This one's H3. P, again, H tells us it's an acid. P came from phosphide, so it's an "ide" ending, so you're going to start with hydro. Fill in the blank, phos, and it's not just phos, it's phosphor. We got to add the or it sounds really silly. Phosphoric, so it has a prefix and a suffix. Hydrophosphoric acid. Let's do some with some more interesting anion endings. How about H2SO4? Oh, poor Billy. He drank H2SO4 and now he is no more. So we look up SO4. There's a little hint as to where it came from. That 2 came from there, so it's in the 2- group of your pink sheet, and it is sulfate. All we do with this is change the 8 to "ic." We got to change the spelling a little bit to make it sound better. Sulfuric acid. And what if we were to do H3PO4? Well, let's do it, Miss A. This sounds like the most exciting thing since sliced bread with fresh butter. So we look at PO4. We could have a little help. It means it came from the 3- column. It's phosphate. I am not a phosphater because I love to floss my teeth. So 8 turns to "ic, and we go phos. We got to change the spelling of this one. Phoric acid. If someone asks you to drink phosphoric acid, just say no. Now let's try another one. How about HNO3? We look up NO3, it's nitrate, and nitrate turns into nitric. So the 8 turns into "ic, and we got nitric. Don't forget your acid, Miss A. Now let's do the last process on the little acid chart, and that is going from "ite" to "us." So we will try HNO2. You look up the NO2, it says nitrite. You simply just change nitrite to nitrous acid. These ones are relatively easy. Let's pick another one Miss A knows off the top of her head because she doesn't have a pink sheet here with her. How about H3? 3PO3. I believe that that's phosphite. And so that ite changes into us. And again, you have to change the spelling of this a little bit. So it's phosphorus acid. So again, ite goes to us, ate goes to ick, and if it's ide, you have a hydro, fill in the blank, and an ick. Now let's try the reverse. So let's say you had acetic acid. This is working backwards. So you look at the ick, and there's no hydro, so that must have come from acetate. Look on your pink sheet for acetate. It's on the upper left-hand corner. It's C2H3O2, and it has a 1 minus charge. And the charge tells you how many H's to add. So if it's a 1 minus charge, you add 1 H. So it's going to be H, C, my pen is really struggling, 2H3O2. Now this H has to be separate from that H because this H tells you it's an acid. Do not combine it with that H, you'll get minus puntos. Let us try another one. Which one shall it be? Let's change up our color. Let's do perchloric acid. Perchloric acid. I know per is a prefix, but it's a prefix that means something different. So here we have ick. Ick must have come from 8. So you look up perchlorate. I believe it's ClO4 with a 1 minus. And so all you need is 1 H. So it would be HClO4. I guess if you drank that, you would be no more also. Let's try hydrobromic acid. So the hydro and the ick tells you that it came from bromide. Bromide is from the periodic table, which is Br minus. So if you have a 1 minus, it means you add 1 H. It's HBr. Now I'm going to do one that, again, that I put on the test many, many times, and people often get it wrong. It's hydrocyanic acid. Again, the clue here is ick and hydro, so it means it came from cyanide. And you will find cyanide, it's not on the periodic table, it's on the pink sheet. You'll find cyanide, it's a Cn minus. If it's a 1 minus, you just need 1 H, so HCN, hydrocyanic acid. I hope this video helped you learn how to kick some acid when you name them, so that you rock on in the free world of naming acids.